Hi everyone, my name is Chris Martin. Welcome to Keto with me. It is day 33 on my journey back into keto. If you're new to my channel, check out my day 0 video where I go over the reasons why I created this video series. Let's check out the daily clip. Well, that was my day 33 clip. So I think you might have saw some exercise on there, so we're going to talk about that here in a second. So let's go through the numbers first. Carbs, 9.7, really good on that. My glucose, my blood glucose was 85. My ketones were 2.6. Those guys are holding pretty strong. My weight was 211.8, so I had 0 weight loss from yesterday to today, but I still got an overall weight loss of 22.6. Don't ever get worried about that. I know it's going to come. I knew with having a couple, good days that I would have a day where either I went up or I just stayed exactly where I was at. So I was just happy I stayed where I was at. My Dr. Boz ratio was 33, so I'm pleased with that number, and my GKI 1.8. My macros were a little off yesterday. I had 61% for my fat, I had 4% for my carbs, and then I had 35% for the protein. So the protein was like a little heavyweight, a little overweighted for what I'd like it to be. And that's just because, when I went to put the meal together, I just didn't get enough fat into it, as I thought I would. So the good news about my meal that I had, the one meal that I did have yesterday is that, I plated up. This is the old Chris here. So I plated up like, a bunch of food, and then I set some, you guys know I like olives. So I had, about like 25 olives, and then I had a little bit of sauerkraut, and, then the rest of the meal. And, as I started to eat, I almost got to the point where I didn't even finish the meat portion of it, the meat and cheese. So I'd only end up eating like 5 olives, none of the sauerkraut. So I had to put little notes on the screen, for my picture to say, hey, I didn't eat those. So that is a good feeling that, you get to that point where, as Dr. Boz says, you eat until satiety, that's how you say it, right? And I did. So, and then I didn't have any any cravings like an hour later or 2 or 3. Those things have all now have passed. So it's really good not to be tied to food anymore. So it's just a wonderful feeling. So as far as I mentioned that there was some exercise that you saw on that video. So the family, we went skating yesterday, roller skating specifically, for like 2 hours and 15 minutes yesterday. So roller skating is a huge thing that I did as a I worked at skating rinks when I was in my teens, and then I skated all the way until my mid 20s, and then injured my back, and then didn't do it again until like mid 30s. And I probably have done it on and off from my mid 30s to maybe like 2 years ago, at least several times a year. actually a couple years ago when I was super keto, I was going all the time again. You know, the family and I would go, and I would go on my own and stuff. So it's something that I love to do. So I was very excited to go do it. I didn't want to do it like, you know, a few months ago or something because I was just too heavy, and you know, I felt light enough to be able to, you know, go and enjoy it. So that's what we did. It was a great time. I really tickled that happened. It was not a planned exercise kind of thing. It was just one of those things that you can tell, like, as I'm getting thinner, I'm getting more active, I have more energy, and I just like, okay, let's go do this, you know. So very exciting. So that's it for my daily recap. Let's get on to the goals. Let's talk about the day 33 goals. So it's day 33, week 5, day 5 of week 33. So my sleep, got 7 hours sleep last night, feel pretty good. Didn't wake up once that I remember, at least. And so I put myself in the best category on that. As far as eating keto goes, fasting still, ended up doing 23 hours of fasting. You know, came home after, I think I told you guys I went roller skating, so, you know, so I expended a lot of energy, so I broke my fast just a little bit sooner than I normally would. I broke it at 5:15 instead of 5:45, which is what I've been averaging. So beast mode on that, and as far as style goes, dirty clean, another home cooked meal, you know, so I left myself in the better category on that. As far as macros go, as I mentioned a little bit ago, 9.7 on the carbs part of it, and then my macro ratios were a little bit off. It's not the worst thing in the world, so I was less than 20, but I brought myself down out of beast to best simply because, you know, I didn't get those macros as close as I'd like them. If I'd have been like 68, maybe 70, I probably, on the fat, I would have moved myself up on that, but no big deal. As far as learning goes, another video that puts me at 5 videos for the week, so I'm in beast mode for that. I'm maintaining that. Going to share that video here very shortly with you. Tracking, got my book, got, you know, chronometer, got the spreadsheet, so that's all going very well. Meditation and relaxation, I had 5 minutes in the evening, 5 minutes in the morning and 20 minutes in the afternoon. So I had some extra time, especially after, you know, skating, kind of wearing myself out. I just wanted to almost pseudo nap it, you know, so that's how I ended up with additional time on that. So in the best category for that, because I've, you know, slowly been trying to move that one over. That's one I always forget to move over, so I'm finally doing that. And then as far as exercise goes, you know, I had some unplanned exercise, but it was a really fun time hanging out with, you know, just hanging out, skating, going, you know, enjoying the family, and just, you know, it was just a great time. I can't tell you how excited I am to, you know, be getting active again and stuff. So 2 hours, 15 minutes. I just put myself in a good category. I know the category descriptions over here, you know, kind of talk about walking. That was mainly just to kind of illustrate what, you know, what someone could do, you know, as far as, you know, just any type of exercise. You know, that will get a little revamped as I start to get more formal into it, you know, doing like P90X3 or something like that. That's it for my goals, folks. Let's talk about the video recommendation. All right, let's talk about the day 33 video recommendation. This is me beating a dead horse again, because sometimes I'll introduce a topic and then I just keep going over it. So I found another autophagy video. I know you're like, oh, Chris, why do you keep giving me these? And one reason I do that is because I remember when I, you know, started on keto before that, you know, figuring out what to do and going out and Googling and finding people and following them and all this other stuff was a huge part of it. But as you would do that, you would come across these different topics, and, you know, one person would be like promoting, do this, you know, they got an exact regimen, and the other one's like, do this, and, you know, so, and then you'd hear something like autophagy, and then you'd be like, is that really necessary? I'm not hearing everybody else talk about it. So for me, I feel like, you know, making sure if we have a pretty decent understanding, then once you have it, you know, maybe 2 or 3 days of it here, then we're like, okay, we know it's there. That's something we're going to try to get to at some point. Don't have to do it right now, but it's definitely something that we're trying to get to. So, you know, because that's just one of the huge benefits. That's why I was saying there's way more to keto than just weight loss. You know, we got to do some, you know, body cleansing, some, you know, long-term, you know, fixing here and stuff like that, because, you know, I don't want to be, you know, 3 years from now and, you know, end up with a cancer diagnosis or something like that. So that's why I keep bringing it up. But this is the last that I'll probably bring it up for at least the daily series. You know, maybe in the future I might bring it up again. So I found one by Jason Fung. You remember him? He's the guru of fasting, so it makes sense that he would be a good person to talk about it. His name of his video is Top Autophagy Benefits. It's a 10-minute and 17-minute video. It has become my favorite autophagy video as far as like the science part of it. But don't worry, it's not like over your head kind of, you know, science type of stuff. He does bring up slides that, you know, are you know, remind you of like sitting in biology class, and then, you know, they're showing the, you know, the breakdown of each little piece of it and so forth. But it was, he explained it, it was just a very short part of it, like maybe a minute or two, and he explains it, how it breaks it down. So one thing I love about this is all the diagrams, and he's just very soft-spoken and just telling you how it is, and like, well, this is why we do it. So he goes from the why, and then he switches to the how partway through it. He uses great examples. He talks about renovating a bathroom and how you have to take out all the old, you know, put in the new, but there's still things there that you have to reuse, and just really good explanations of it. I'm looking here. Oh, he had this one diagram where it like explained like all the diseases, you know, and everything that, you know, kind of, you know, that occurs. He did bring up two new terms. You know, we remember from the other day when I was talking about, or we were looking at Dr. Ken Berry's video, he brought up mitophagy, and I said, oh yeah, I'd not heard that before, as far as at least, you know, in the context of fasting and so forth. He brought up, and I'm probably going to say this, agoraphagy and xenophagy, and I forget the exact details of those, but they were components of this. So there's, you know, these, you know, the four we're talking about, autophagy and these two, and then, you know, mitophagy, and he explains them. I liked it because his went into more detail than the other people, but the nice thing about Dr. Boz and Dr. Ken Berry's videos is that they gave us like the more practical, like, you know, Dr. Ken Berry was like 14 to 72 hours. Dr. Boz was like 12, you know, you can get benefit as early as 12. But I don't remember Jason Fung saying anything about like the maximum duration, but he did say, you know, too much is bad, too little is no good. And I think with what everyone else is saying, I think we understand that, you know, 72, probably over 72 is not really much benefit. And I imagine if you go pretty far, it could be bad. So great video. I think you'll love it. Go check it out. Again, short 10 minutes. You know, you'll really enjoy it. That's it for my video recommendation, folks. That's it for day 33, folks. Thanks for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe so you can keto with me. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them down below. Just remember, none of us are perfect. Be a coach, not a critic, and take care.